there, welcome into this first edition of the 2015 SAU Football Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head football coach Bill Keopple. And Coach, first Coaches Show of the year. That means obviously the season is upon us this weekend. The Mule Riders kick off the 2015 season. I think it's one that you and your staff and some fans have been eagerly anticipating with some unknowns, but also a lot of things looking ahead towards this year that I think you and your staff feel very positive about. One of the things is obviously you look at the roster and the youth that is there. Not a whole lot of upperclassmen, but you feel you've got some talented youngsters.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we feel like we do. What we've seen so far out of them from spring and this fall, obviously we recruited them here. We felt like they were good football players coming out of high school, and they have proved that they are. So, youth can be somewhat scary to a certain degree. But with this group of guys here, that they bring a different element to our football team that I don't think we've had since we've been here. Just a air of confidence, a talent level that I think we've increased our talent level on the whole football team, actually, to a certain degree. It's time to play. I mean, we've been in camp for now today 21 days, and it's time for us to get out there and make contact with somebody besides ourselves. I know that it's been a grind. It's been a good fall camp for us. We've been injury-free through the camp to a certain extent. Obviously, we've had a few minor things, but it's been good. We've seen a lot of positives. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns though still, and that's for all of us. I mean, everybody coaching college football today, getting ready to go in and play this weekend. There's a lot of unknowns on every team in America right now, and we're just one of them. We're excited about it, ready to play and see what our football team can do.
It appears to be a running storyline not only for the Mule Riders going into this season, but within the conference on our level, and even you could spread it out on a wider scope. But new quarterbacks are kind of the theme this year for a lot of teams, and that's no different for the Mule Riders, losing Cy Blackshire last year, who had a tremendous year in his lone year as a starter, but really left his mark on the program. And you had a couple guys in the program last year that redshirted as freshmen, so this year they're redshirt freshmen, and I know you're looking for both of them to contribute this year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like that all around college football right now. You look in our league. I mean, you look around Arkansas. UAM has the lone returning quarterback in Arkansas, and you look over in the Oklahoma side. There's Southeast that I can think of off the top of my head that has a returning quarterback. Everybody else has got a new guy in charge. We're very fortunate that we were consciously recruiting these young men when we knew our situation. Side Areas had a year, and Side Areas came in for his lone year to start for us and had a great year. But he experienced some growing pains early in the year last year that hurt us in a couple games, but ended up having a great year leading the league in total offense and did a lot of positive things for us. So the two young men we're talking about, Barrett Renner and Omari Jones, two young men that have a lot of talent. They can throw. Both of them can throw the ball really well. They're good size at 6'3" apiece. And they can both run, and they bring a different element to the game. I tell you what, if you're going to drop and play coverage, and your defensive line can't get there, you better watch out. It's coming out, and if you come after us, they got the ability to get the ball out, and if you lose containment, they're going to get outside, and it could turn into a big game for us. So that's exciting. Cy showed us a little bit of that last year with his ability to escape somewhat. But Cy's not as fast as either one of these guys, and so that's good for us. It's always a scary thing when your quarterback gets to running a lot. We don't want him to run a lot, because he does have a nice supporting cast right now with the receiving core we have, our running backs, our offensive line being pretty much back intact. Those are all positive things for us on offense.
Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, I know that was maybe an area of focus for you and your staff throughout the offseason, trying to clean up a few things. There were some games last year that you've spoken previously that holding fourth quarter leads that maybe could have turned out a little bit differently if maybe some things on defense were maybe shook out a little differently. So what kind of steps did you and your staff take in the preparation this offseason to address those?
Well, obviously, when you have fourth quarter leads and 3 of your 5 losses, and one of the losses we were tied in a shootout, and at some point your defense has got to be good enough to step up and get the stop that you need in a critical time in the game. I mean, just like Southwest coming in here. I mean, we had a 11-point lead with 9 minutes to go in that game last year, and all of a sudden turned the tides on us, and we let one get away from us, and that's what we've got to eliminate. And we address that. I mean, we've addressed it in recruiting the last 2 years. We knew where we were at. We had a lot of seniors on our defensive side of the football last year. A lot of those guys have been backups during their career, and good solid guys, solid players to a certain extent. But for whatever reason, we couldn't get it done on the defensive side last year. I think it became a depth issue and some issue. We had some issues with depth last year, which is always a problem for anybody at this level with a scholarship number that you have. But we have been addressing that in our recruiting. Now we've got some guys that we feel like have grown up a little bit in a program that are ready to step up and be big contributors to that. Getting Quan Warren back. I mean, we lost him right off the bat last year, early in the season. I mean, an all-conference type corner. Having him back is a positive thing. Chris Wilson still being out there is a positive thing for us. Darren Crawford's a guy we recruited last year, played last year, and has stepped his game up and should be a very solid corner for us out there. Elgin Moore at safety has grown into a very good football player, and you got Nico Thomas, you got Casey Johnson back there. We got a lot of depth in the back end, and that's a good thing for us. Not to not mention a few other names, but there's several other guys back there that are going to play a lot this year, and we have more depth back there, talent in our depth than we've ever had. Our defensive line, you look at us on paper. I mean, they're starting a redshirt freshman at defensive end. They're starting a redshirt freshman on the other side at the other defensive end position. But Kendrick McCann we feel is a very talented player. I mean, he reminds me a lot of the Bobo kid that played up at Henderson. That type of guy, a physical, strong, not very tall, but physical, strong guy at about 250 that runs well. That he's going to be hard to move off the football. And Calvin Lyons has really had a great spring and fall camp. A guy that's 280 pounds, a guy that's been in our program, been playing, but he's really finally taken his game to another level with Gar coming back and some of the additions behind those two guys right there. We should be solid in the middle. It's remained to be seen. I mean, we're going to find out Saturday, and if these guys are really up to the task. And so far, through spring ball, our defensive line gave us a lot of trouble. And that's with a veteran offensive line trying to block them. And so I thought was a good sign for us. And it's been that way a little bit in the fall camp. I mean, I tell you what, our two tackles I feel like are as good as in the league with Jonathan Greenidge and Nick Nichols. And our young defensive ends have given them fits. I mean, I'm talking about all the way down into a couple of our true freshmen that have come in here and that are going to play for us this year. So, those are all positive signs, but signs don't tell you a whole lot until you really get out and play somebody else, and it's time for us to play somebody. I mean, we've got an opponent coming in here that is, just giving us fits.
Yeah, you're talking about the opponent, Southwestern Oklahoma, week 1. Last year, played them in week 3. They beat us, obviously came back in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. They started off 2-1 last year, but then ended up the season 3-7, so they had a little bit of a downturn. Like we said, they're in a situation where they don't have their quarterback back. They kind of had a rotating quarterback last year, but they also lost a near 1,000-yard rusher in Carl Hodge to graduation. And so there's a lot of unknowns and things like that. Is there anything that you as a staff can do to prepare for that, or is it just really focusing on yourselves and really executing your game plan?
That's the tough thing about the first football game. There are all unknowns. I mean, they're going to put some new personnel out there that you have not seen, and at running back, that's one of them for what they're playing with on paper. We have not seen those guys. Their quarterback they have down right now, Mark Evans, is a guy that we have not played against. But you go back and look at his junior college film, a very capable quarterback, very accurate. Guy that obviously is going to strike some concern into you as a defensive coach, and the receiving core they've got some new faces there. One guy that was their second leading receiver is back. The guy had 28 catches for him last year. That now they're listing him as a second. So whoever they brought in must be pretty good too. So, we're always going to go in with a lot of respect against this bunch. Coach Kokenauer does a great job. I know he's had a tough situation with his wife passing, and our condolences go out to him and his family for that. But they've always been a well-coached football team, play hard. We've beaten them by 1 point. We've beaten them by a touchdown. I mean, the games we've played against Southwest since we've been playing them have all been very, very close. I think we were talking yesterday that over the 4 years we've played them, 9 points separate us. So, and we're 3-1 with them against them right now, and that's good. Hopefully we can add to that. But they always play hard. They got a lot of defensive personnel back. Their two defensive ends are very, very good football players. We feel like they did lose a great defensive tackle last year off of their team that we're glad to see go, because he gave us fits for 4 years. And they've got some linebackers that have played a lot of football for them. So we don't expect anything else but a dogfight, a hard-fought football game, a game that's going to come down to the who makes the fewest mistakes and who can sustain for the entire game. I mean, that's what it boils down to, and we didn't do that last year, and they did. So, they started off strong last year, finished out, had a tough year, but there's a lot of unknowns with that as to injuries and those types of things that can, it just takes a guy here or there that can put you in a bad situation as a college football team, and it can make your record really suffer.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head football coach Bill Keopple. He and his Mule Riders kick off the 2015 season this upcoming weekend. September 5th, 6 o'clock is the kickoff here at Wilkins Stadium, so a home game. Mule Gaining starts a couple hours before, so be sure to come out and enjoy that. Coach, we're excited for the season. Best of luck.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I hope we have a crowd like we did last year. We came out here against Southeastern. I don't think I've ever seen that many people mule gating out there before the game. Had a big crowd there, and then the lightning delay came. Hopefully we can avoid that this year and get the game over in a timely fashion. I think we finished the Southeast game last year at about midnight, so with a 6 o'clock kickoff. We don't want to get into that again. The weather looks good. It will be a little bit warm, but we're expecting a hard-fought, good football game, good Great American Conference football. I mean, it should be a good night. Hopefully the fans come out and see it.
We appreciate it very much again, and also be sure to check MuleRiderAthletics.com for all your pre- and post-game coverage of Week 1, Mule Riders versus the Bulldogs of Southwestern Oklahoma. Again, Coach, best of luck.
Thank you.